Hey everyone, welcome back to Topher Drives, where today we're going to show you what it's like to live with this 2025 Ram 1500 Rebel X. The X being the 10th anniversary, the celebration model of the Ram Rebel, the kind of medium off-road, not quite up to RHO TRX, but kind of like a F-150 Tremor or Silverado Trail Boss. It's crazy that this has been 10 years of Ram Rebel. I remember when these came out in 2015. Time is such a weird thing. It does not feel like it's been 10 years at all. This is actually not even a video that I planned on shooting because, to be honest with you guys, I don't shoot every car that we get. You know, I share cars with the Topher. We film them for Winding Road, the Topher, and Topher Drives, but sometimes I take a break and I skip vehicles. Well, I was gonna skip this Ram Rebel X, but I figured why not just throw the camera on and take you all with me on my little side quest today. I am going to the Junkyard, and in before all the people that say, oh, you should leave the Ram Rebel X while you're there, but no. We're going to the Junkyard because I bought a project car, which I have not announced or shown anywhere, but if you chose to watch the Ram Rebel X video, well then you get early access to find out what it is. It's not anything super exciting. It's a 2004 Honda Civic Hybrid, which is actually the first Civic Hybrid that Honda ever made, but I bought it from Copart. It's got a very minor amount of side damage, so I need to get a passenger rear door, and I figured, well, why not use this pickup truck? We don't often have pickup trucks. So go to the Junkyard and grab it. Also, I had a couple people request I drive a Ram with the new Hurricane twin turbo inline-6, and this has that. And I do want to talk about that during this video because it is a huge departure from the years and years of Hemi V8 powertrains that were in these top trim Ram trucks. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way right now. Let's talk about what's under the hood. So this has the new 3-liter twin turbo inline-6, which I do prefer an inline-6 over a V6, so happy they went with that. Power output, 420 horsepower, 469 pound-feet of torque. This is 4-wheel drive. It has the ZF 8 HP 8-speed automatic transmission. And as I said earlier, the Rebel is kind of like a medium off-road truck. So it sits an inch higher than a regular Ram. It has these unique wheels, unique tires, unique trimmings around the truck. Some Goodyear Wranglers in a 275 70 R18. So I like that we do have a lot of sidewall. Apologies for this red paint being very dirty right now. It is that time of year where everything is covered in salt. So this is more of like a pink look, I suppose, and I'm totally blanking on what this color is. With no shame, I'm going to check the window sticker right now, also because I want a break from the wind. I just looked at this. What is this color called? Delmonico. You know, I'm thinking of Tuscadero from the Wrangler 392. Delmonico Red Pearl. You can see here, Ram Rebel starts at $64,000. Rebel X, the 10th anniversary pack, adds a $3,500 price increment. Total price here on this, $78,000. With the Rebel X being the 10th anniversary, there are a number of trimmings that remind you that. You get the X embroidered here on the seats, special console badge. We have some stickers on the bed sides here. You also get standard ventilated seats. You get a standard panoramic moonroof. And I mean, overall, the Ram was new for 2025. And we actually had a Laramie that I didn't film because I was irritated. I couldn't see out of it because it had the stupid tow mirrors. So this is the first one that I'm filming. But this was new for 25. I don't think it really looks all that different. It still looks like a Ram to me. Admittedly, I'm not really a Ram expert, so I don't really like research Ram stuff. But I guess we may as well have one on the channel. I like these Ram boxes. A little bit of extra storage here. And they have little lights in here too. That switch is very satisfying to push. You have a wall-style outlet in the Ram box as well. Nice for stuff you want to throw in the truck bed, but maybe you don't want it to get wet. You don't want to have to commit to putting a tonneau cover on this thing. We have a power tailgate. While we're around back, we should talk about towing. 11,500 pounds you can tow with any Hurricane inline-6 powered Ram. That is quite impressive. This Rebel is one of those. So 11.5, I suppose I could tow an entire other Ram behind it and it would have no problem. Almost 2 of them. We have this storage solution back here, which I'm probably going to end up using for my door. It kind of is in there so you can kind of change the size of the bed. You can see there, you can kind of space some things out with that. You guys can tell I'm totally a truck guy. Lots of good truck guy terminology. Push up on that tailgate and it will power shut. We also have these steps that come out if you want to step back up in to the bed of the truck. You can do that easily with those. Okay. It is quite cold out today. Oh, and I forgot. I left the house and I wasn't even planning on filming. So got all my Junkyard stuff, got my big Carhartt jacket and things. But let's show you back seat space. Obviously, with this being a crew cab 1500 series truck, there is just an insane amount of room in the back seat. These Rams have this whole fold down console, which is like essentially the entire middle seat folds down, which I do like. And our trimmings overall back here are pretty nice. We have some slight Alcantara accents, lots of red stitching to complement the Rebel X package, the red exterior, all of that stuff. Behind all my cargo blankets that I don't know that I'll have to use or not. Heated rear seats, 4 USB ports, 2 A's and 2 C's. And then we have a wall style outlet back here as well. Some cup holders. We've got little places to put things, to hang stuff for your carabiners, I guess. I first saw that in the back of a Ford Bronco Sport, but maybe it's been in the Ram Rebel for quite a while. We have a Harman Kardon sound system, which is one of the most powerful sound systems I've ever heard in any car ever, which is another reason I wanted to film this, because I want to let you all listen to that. It's absolutely nuts. The Rebel gets the large 14 some odd inch vertical touchscreen. We'll play with that once we're up front as well. But actually, before we jump up front, let's go ahead and show you the Hurricane Inline-6. Let's pop the hood. Geez, what is the last truck I even filmed? I think maybe the Raptor R, like 6 months ago. Luckily, we have hood struts for our $78,000, and you can see the twin-turbo Inline-6 fitting in there nicely. Not really a ton to see, just kind of a big engine cover, but you can see down there the turbos. Nice. See, I'm not hugely against a Turbo 6, especially an Inline-6, but I can understand why Ram people are upset, because the Hemi, that was like the signature of the Ram, was to have a Hemi, and now it's completely gone. But since Tavares is gone from Stellantis, maybe we'll see the return of a Hemi after a couple-year hiatus once they can figure some things out. Up front, you can see nice perforations, red under that with these seats. This is a super fresh truck. It's only got 903 miles on it, so we've completed our break-in period here. But up front, you know, things are pretty nice. Black headliner. It's trimmed very, very nicely. I love the detail on this door panel. Some Alcantara, that's not wood. I was going to say wood, but it's definitely not. This dark chrome door handle is nice. Lots of just stitching. It's kind of what you'd expect if you're going to spend in excess of $60,000 on a pickup truck. As we know, pickups have just gotten very expensive. Let's use our handle to pull us in. If you're a bit short, this may be a problem. Of course, to have our increased ground clearance on the Ram Rebel, we don't have any running boards. And what I've been liking lately about some of these Stellantis products is the doors actually feel very nice and high quality. We saw this in the Durango Hellcat that I drove a couple weeks ago, and the build quality does seem to be improving a bit. I suspect we'll see even more of an improvement as the years go on. You can see our Rebel X plaque here on the center console, 2015-2025. Very, very large center console. And this is my favorite Easter egg in the whole thing. I'll put a B-roll shot of this because you guys probably won't be able to see it on camera. But inside the console, we have every generation of Ram truck. So I love little touches like that. Huge console. You've got places to put coins. This is something that I haven't seen in forever. And do cars have this still? I don't know. But keep your coins from rattling, I suppose, if you put them in those little slots. We've got some cup holders. We have numerous places to put things, including 2 wireless phone chargers up front. With the Rebel X, you get a passenger screen over there, which obviously we won't be using today because we are not the passenger, but kind of just reflects what you have on the main infotainment. However, you have a line in for an HDMI cable, so I suppose you could like play Xbox on there if you wanted. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But okay, I'm cold. Let's go ahead and start this Hurricane Inline-6, and we'll go ahead and get on the road and show you what it's like to drive this Ram Rebel X. Lots of classic Stellantis bings and bongs there as it comes to life. And this is so cliche, but honestly, this Hurricane Inline-6 is probably, if not the smoothest Inline-6 on the market. It's unbelievable, and I don't know if this is just because there's so much behind it, this huge dashboard, probably a ton of sound deadening, or maybe just the fact that it's such a new engine, you can't feel it idle. I mean, you can barely hear it idle, but you really, really cannot feel it. There's my buddy Stu in his lowered Ford Edge. But yeah, I mean, I'll have people, BMW and Mercedes people in the comments, but you know what? That's different. A BMW and a Mercedes, I shouldn't feel that idle. Okay, that's a class above a Ram, and I suppose I shouldn't even really be comparing Inline-6s from Ram to BMW and Mercedes. Infotainment screen seems to work pretty well. This is the newest version, of course, of iykyk. As I say that, it is lagging terribly. There we go. You can see climate control screen, but all of the climate stuff that you need lives outside the infotainment as physical buttons, so we can't really fault it for that. CarPlay actually looks really nice on here. It fills the screen vertically, which you don't always see, so nice to see that integrated. Camera rearview mirror here, which I'm going to leave off because I'm trying to mitigate as many flickering things in here as we can. Okay, enough talking here in the parking lot. Let's put this thing into drive, actually reverse first. What I like about the Rebel is that you get an actual shifter, you get paddle shifters, you get a sport button. The Laramie that we drove earlier this year or actually it was last year, had none of this. Pretty high quality, high definition backup camera. Steering has a decent weight to it. I would say just about as light as you can get away with on a pickup truck. The steering rack itself is pretty quick, and this truck honestly feels very maneuverable. It just kind of feels like a big Dodge Charger. It's probably the biggest takeaway I have this week is that most Stellantis vehicles, they all just kind of feel and drive the same, especially because they all share so many parts. Probably will be a few things moving around in the back seat, just my tools and everything for the junkyard. Love the integration of the ZF 8HP. I like that Ram hasn't gone over the top with making these trucks so bespoke and having unique transmissions and things, because this 8HP does such a great job in their cars and their SUVs. Why not keep it in the truck? You do get quite a lot of road noise with these Goodyear Wranglers. Probably the biggest downside to getting the Rebel. The Goodyear Wrangler, it's just a loud tire. I mean, that's just the way that it is. So you do have to make some sacrifices. You could always swap these out. There's a TRX. Unfortunately, no longer in production. I'm really excited to drive the RHO, though, because that has the Hurricane Inline-6, but otherwise it is essentially a TRX. Lots of different trim levels are always appreciated, so everyone can get the flavor that they want. And the Rebel is a well-appreciated flavor. We'll do this loop real quick in sport, and then we're going to jump on the highway and do somewhat of a highway commute here out to the junkyard. Sport, super easy to access, just a huge sport button. We do have a number of other drive modes that you can get with these physical arrow buttons. I just love that I don't have to go into the infotainment screen to grab sport mode. You can also bump your stick over to the left, and joy of joys, the manual shifting is in the correct direction, pull towards you to upshift. But we do have these steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, which actually react pretty quickly. Oh, we're going behind the TRX. Let's get up on them. Feel out this brake pedal. Allows pretty aggressive downshifts here, this 8-speed. See if we can keep up with him. We are on the edge of grip. Come on, oh, it's an RHO. It's not even a TRX. He doesn't even know I exist. See, there you go. Proof that the TRX and the RHO look exactly the same because I couldn't tell the difference. Nice feeling from these paddles. You do get a nice like ka-thunk when you use them. Let's go back into automatic and we'll do an acceleration here. There's nobody behind us. Why don't we go from a dig? We're in 4-wheel drive auto, but 2-wheel drive is just going to have no traction. This Rebel X is supposedly good for 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds, which is just hilariously quick for something like this, but it kind of has to be because all the other trucks are kind of going in this direction of just being generally very quick. The 3.5 EcoBoost V6 and the F-150, very similar power figures, feels just about as quick. And then the 6.2 liter that you can get in some of the Chevys, that's very quick as well. So they have to keep up with the times here. Tow mode, snow mode, auto, off-road, and sport are all of our available drive modes here. This Hurricane Inline-6 is rated at 19 mpg combined. Thank you, Jeeves. This week, I've been seeing about 13 miles to the gallon combined. That's between the Topher and I, over about 150 miles total. Beautiful, silky torque. This 8-speed always knows what gear you should be in. I've had 0 rough shifts this week. I love this powertrain altogether. This Inline-6 and 8-speed just work in such beautiful harmony. I never thought I'd be a Ram guy. I never thought I'd appreciate the Ram. And it's why it's taken so long for me to actually feature one on the channel. This is not the first Ram that we've driven since I've been a part of the Topher verse, as somebody just made up in my comments the other day, which I love. I'm going to start using that. But, you know, now spending quite a bit of time in this Rebel, it's making sense. This does feel like a very well put together truck, and you can see where Stellantis has been investing a lot of their time and money. It's on these trucks because I think they feel that these are kind of their way out of the hole. Having these really high quality trucks is partially probably going to keep them on the map. You can hear we have a lot of road noise. Some wind noise today too, but it's pretty windy out, so can't fault it too much. These Wranglers just absolutely scream. We have adaptive cruise. All of it is accessible through the steering wheel. Obviously, active driving assist is what they call it. We can set this, we'll set it to 79 here. You can adjust your following distance on the steering wheel as well. Love to see that. And the actual ride comfort here is great. This, of course, has unique shocks, unique suspension altogether for the Rebel trim. And it's a little bit bouncy, but it's not terribly bouncy. It's tough to get the ride right on a 1500 series truck. It seems like here they've got it pretty well dialed in. You can see it's sensing these people getting on. Actually, I'm going to stay here. I want to see how it slows down. Applying the brakes. It feels like it's getting squirrely, but I think it's just because it's kind of tweaking where it wants the steering wheel. All right, we're going to turn this off. We've got a couple different gauge cluster displays. You can have this horizontal display. I like the analog style. Gauge is the best. Let's see, 12.7 mpg over the last 160 miles. You can have a full map display here on the cluster. Adjust your head-up display. I think something Stellantis always gets right are their graphics on the gauges. I just got out of the Durango Hellcat and really loved the way that looks. Okay, so what's this like to sit in on the highway? Overall seat comfort, quite nice. You've got lots of adjustment for your lumbar, goes in and out very quickly. And I hate to sound this way, but I mean, it's just the truth. A lot of people that drive these 1500 series trucks are older gentlemen that need back support. So it's nice to see, even though this is a bit of a sportier trim, we do still have some comfort aspects in it, and as it should for being $78,000. Trucks are just like the new luxury cars. We don't have as many luxury flagships now because 1500 series trucks have just replaced them. But otherwise, yeah, adjustment's nice. Seating position's great. I've got the seat all the way down. Nice open greenhouse in this Ram 1500, as it should be. Door panels sit low enough to where you can rest your elbow on here to drive. Elbow comfiness, not the best. This special 10th anniversary center console, I'm sure it's not any different than the regular center console comfort-wise, but not the softest thing on the elbow. I mean, they have a little bit of squish to them. They're not terrible, but... Ooh, there's a proper flagship, M760i. Bucket list car for me. Love that we still have a volume knob in here. Once we switch highways, we'll test out this Harman Kardon sound system. Let's go back into sport mode for this. Kind of have to hold that button for it to register. A little bit lazy of a switch, that's okay. Guys, I just screwed up and went the wrong way. But you know what? It's okay. We're going to get a clover leaf out of it. Coming in hard. Quite a bit of body roll here. Next to no grip from these Goodyear Wranglers. Ooh, there go all my tools in the back. Many of clover leaves to fix my error. I'm pretty bad at following directions, especially when I'm filming. That's why it helps when I have Emily with me. Steering weight's up quite a bit. Not that that gives it any more feel. But I would say that I prefer the steering in this Ram over the F-150. You do have just that much more feel in this. And it does feel more like car steering than it does truck steering. This is just a total nightmare. Go ahead. Zipper. Yes, look at us zipper merging. It's amazing how these Wranglers can be loud even at 26 miles per hour. Let's use some wiper fluid here. Brake pedal feels nice in this. Not a huge amount of squish before you get into those brakes like you'd find in a Silverado. Honestly, guys, dynamically, this may be my favorite truck to drive. Base to base, you know, not talking Raptor, not talking TRX. This Hurricane Inline-6 is very, very quiet. I think if I were to give it even another compliment, it's that it does a great job of simply existing in the background. I suppose that's a pro and a con, because we talked a little bit earlier about how the Hemi is kind of so iconic to the Ram, and you kind of yearn for that V8 rumble, and I have missed the V8 a bit. This Inline-6 does make it feel a bit more European, a bit more sophisticated. It's good and it's bad. I don't know that it really fits the vibe of the Ram, but I like it just on a very baseline level if we're not being stereotypical Ram. It's quite nice. Let's go full screen so maybe I can see this nav a little bit better. We have buttons behind the steering wheel to control our volume. Let's actually do a sound system test here.
Feeling
Now, I'm not going to go out and say that this is the most impressive sound system as far as overall performance, clarity, and things like that, but the power is just nuts. I mean, at like, I think this goes up to like 40 or something like that as far as volume goes, and at 20 to 25, I'm at my limit. It's so loud, it's so powerful, huge punches from the bass, and the clarity that you do have is very in your face. It's very in front of you, kind of like soundstage style from the dashboard. So very, very nice tuning here with this Harman Kardon. I think I do actually prefer it. Lots of torque. I think I do actually prefer it over the B&O Unleashed that you get in the F-150, as well as just kind of the simple like 8-speaker, 12-speaker Bose that you get in the Silverado. Welcome to Taylor, Michigan. This is not a place we often go, but one of the only junkyards left in the area is in Taylor, so I either have to go to Detroit or Taylor is kind of my only choices now. Or I could go to Sterling Heights, which is actually where this Ram was built. Only about 45 minutes from where I live, they build these Rams. All I can hear is that Hemi Ram up there. And my Goodyear Wranglers. Impact harshness, not bad at all. Obviously a lot of it is soaked up by these tires. Speaking of tires, we're passing Continental, maybe a warehouse or something. Try out use of these paddle shifters one more time. Sport mode really improves that throttle input. To two-wheel drive on the fly? Oh, we can, okay. Just want to show you guys the lack of grip that we have in two-wheel drive. I do wish I had a gear counter somewhere other than just down here in the bottom left corner. It's a little bit hard to see. Stability control kicking in there. Got a private jet flying over. All right, guys, well, we're coming up here on our last 4 minutes of the trip. Junkyard is just up here on the left. It's been nice to live with this Ram this week, and happy to take you all along with me and show you what it's like. Of course, the Topher will have a video on this truck as well. He did a bit of off-road, so if you want to know what the Rebel X is like off-road, you want to see somebody else drive it, go over to the Topher channel. You can check his takeout as well. But as for me, I've just been pleasantly surprised by how they've been able to make this drive more like a car, and how a lot of this kind of Stellantis familiarity, is that how you say it? Familiarity? Which I know that sometimes they get slack for that, kind of reusing parts, but it's nice to be in something that kind of just feels like a big Dodge Charger, because I like the Dodge Charger. Hopefully this doesn't get stolen like a Dodge Charger, and I'm going to take my camera with me into the junkyard so I don't, if I come out to an empty spot where the truck used to be, at least I still have my camera. It's been nice and feels, I think, more high-end than some of the other trucks that cost as much as this. So kudos to Stellantis, working with what they have to make overall a really nice product here. Let's pull this Ram Rebel X into the junkyard. Not to leave it there, but to assist me in getting some parts. And oh my goodness, do you guys see what I am seeing? That is a Hummer H2. Wow, ooh, lots of good trucks today. Hummer H2, Honda Ridgeline. I suppose we're gonna back this in. Oh, and an old Toyota, what is that, T100 pickup. Howdy. Don't imagine he'd appreciate knowing that this has an Inline-6, but he doesn't need to know. If you've never been to your local U-Pull, I suggest you go, because it's always just such a fun, unique experience. You never know what you're going to find, who you're going to find. Okay, I call that parked. Let's put our parking brake on, we'll shut this off, and we'll give you one last look at this Ram Rebel X. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Cool old Toyota T100. But let me know if you have any questions about what it's been like to live with this new Hurricane Inline-6 powered Ram Rebel X. Can't really do too much of a walk around because it's muddy and everything else. Guess I can walk up on this and show you the back one more time as another Ram truck enjoyer leaves the yard. But that'll wrap it up for us today. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.